could we take Helena?
Yes, one moment. Helena, welcome again to the show.
Helena in the UK. You're
Hello,
live.
yes.
You're live with Eric and V. Hey, oh my goodness. We're just glad that the stream is still up, I guess, right?
Yes, indeed.
Helena, what did you want to talk about today?
Yeah, so I managed to go down a rabbit hole yesterday on the internet.
Okay.
As
and
happens.
Found a few things which are against the argument for attention design.
Okay.
So it doesn't disprove it, but it begs the question: if God was perfect, surely he would have done a better job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that is the general consensus.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the first one is obviously, sorry, I've written notes because I lost my original notes from the other night, but obviously Earth being in the Goldilocks zone, it's not actually in the best possible position for it.
Well, agreed. I mean, there are lots of arguments that are like that. We've got a planet that is far more of this planet is inhospitable for our life than the other way around. So you would imagine that if a God could create everything, that a Garden of Eden could be just as big as the entire planet, and we wouldn't have, these deserts, and we wouldn't have so much, undrinkable water all over the planet that we'd be able to populate that would be better design, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just that, in terms of, see, where Earth is in the solar system within the Goldilocks zone, we're actually towards closer to the sun than we probably need to be. For more vegetation, it'd actually be best to be towards the colder side. I mean, I'm not obviously a scientist yet, but so
yes, I like that.
Check this, but yeah.
Yeah.
No, exactly. And I remember hearing an argument about this as well, which is they're like, if we go when they give, I don't know what the numerical value that they give this thing, but
10 feet.
10 of these one way or the other, then all life is dead on the planet. It's amazing. It's perfect. But they're talking in really big terms, right? It's like saying if this phone was 1 yard in either direction, then it would be off the desk. But you're like, okay, well, but what if it was a foot off? then it doesn't matter as much. So the way that they're trying to make it seem super fine-tuned, they're just talking in bigger terms so that it conceals the fact that there's actually a lot more variables than they want to believe.
Well, that and there are just so many directions besides that. No, first off, we orbit the sun in an ellipse, so there are times when we are far, far further from the sun and far, far closer. But also, just this idea that there are, cosmic constants that could somehow change or be different that would make life inhospitable is ridiculous. I have no reason to believe that the cosmological constants could be different. Come at me, call in if you disagree, because I want to have that argument. But the idea that, if things were just a little bit different, well, okay, if water wasn't wet, then you wouldn't, get wet when you ran through a sprinkler or something. It makes absolutely no sense to me. So, but I don't know. Hopefully we can get a caller who believes that and who can talk to us about it, because what I really don't want to do is I don't want to straw man, a lot of those positions, because some of them can be very nuanced. And so what we should be doing and what our goal as good communicators should be is to listen, find out what they really, think, and then address those concerns on a one-on-one basis. That way we're not straw manning them.
That said, I think that it's super important to kind of, if you are a skeptic of any kind who wants to call in and get ready for an argument with somebody or bounce ideas about how to respond to something, that is also totally something we would want to do with you. So if you're calling, you're like, you know what, I had this argument and this is what I said, but I feel like it wasn't quite right. How can I better represent my position? Or am I holding the right position in the first place? That's also super interesting in terms of conversation. And before we let you go, Helena, I do want to make one more point, which is even if we were perfectly dead center in the Goldilocks zone, right? And even if everything was actually perfectly aligned for life, that still does nothing to prove any point about anything else. We could easily grant that and be like, okay, well, sure, and? And so I think, yes, it's absolutely important to be a good science communicator and a good educator in that way. No, it's not actually accurate what they are saying, and we should call them out on that. But even if we were to grant that, I don't want anyone to think just because they don't know the science or just because they might accept that part of the claim, it doesn't make it any more convincing.
No, yeah.
No, it could be completely right and it still wouldn't prove anything.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah. I mean, there's even a theory going around at the moment that, like, when we were single-cell organisms, viral infections, like viruses affected the earliest DNA, which is why the sperm entering the egg is so similar to a virus attacking a cell in the human body.
I have no idea about that.
They can't prove it, but apparently it's like they're kind of working on, but not really. It's something it's a rabbit hole I went down, so it could be wrong, but it was interesting.
I would definitely love for some biologists to call in and tell us about that, because that'd be interesting.
Torben.
Yeah, I'm just someone on the internet.
Call in.
All right.
That's awesome, though, Helena. Thank you so much for calling in today. I know that it's a little bit later in the day for you, so thanks so much.
Take care.